No. We had friends in common. The one time I met him, he was very charming and very nice to me. I saw his Ziggy Stardust in London, and then I saw him in New York at Radio City Musical. I loved New York, and New York was a big influence on me. Huge influence on me, New York. I first went to America in 1968, arrived in New York and hated it, and then went across to Los Angeles and San Francisco, came back to New York and fell in love with it. And I used to go regularly. I could bump into people in the street the minute I arrived. Currently, New York is full of ghosts for me. Friends who have died, friends who have moved. And the city's a very changed place in the way that I think if you didn't come to London for 10 years, you would find it very different too. Isn't the destruction of cities just a classic thing in movies, whether it's London or not? London is considered one of the world's major cities. Some people think it's the most major city these days. They used to think it was New York, they used to think it was Paris. These three cities have vied for being the world's most contemporary cities in different periods. London currently is seen as more cultured than New York, perhaps. I don't know. I don't necessarily think Hollywood wants to punish. Hollywood wants to make money. Destruction makes people attached and respond emotionally. That's commercial. Purely commercial. I don't see any other motive other than they're going to make more money. We really are in a period of huge uncertainty. When I went to Paris at the beginning of December, I arrived to riots. So I arrived in the third week. I sat in my hotel room hearing sirens and explosions that were just around the corner from where I was. They're still having riots in Paris. They're now in their 8th week. And whatever the government's tried to do to stop them, it hasn't worked. As nobody knows what the outcome of Brexit is going to be, we could be heading for a period of civil violence in England. I don't know. I hope not, obviously, but then we do need change. There have always been big differences between London and Paris. In England, the violence is less sophisticated, shall we say. I think it's more cultural than France. They were alienated youth. In France, I think it's more alienated workers. And we have class in England, which is such an issue still. Brexit is an English public school boys squabble, an Eton public school boys squabble. They're so out of touch with reality because we're all more integrated now than ever. We're culturally integrated. This whole thing of Brexit, that we're going to leave and take back control, it's ludicrous because so much of England is not owned by England anymore. So much of England depends on external sources. So much of our food comes from outside England.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Christmas cheer, Christmas fear, Christmas tear, Christmas bear, Christmas cheer, Christmas tear, Christmas bear, Christmas bear.
Property is seen as a safe place all over the world, but it was, and now property is collapsing. The Oscorp scheme, it's still going on. Nothing is actually being built. More schemes like this are going to be given the go-ahead, but there'll be more empty properties being built until we have some cultural shift. Whether this Brexit is going to create the cultural shift, I don't know, but there's a huge one at Battersea which has taken over 30 years and still hasn't finished. Problem with a lot of these ones that have been put up is they don't look like anywhere in the world. Tourists coming to London in the future, and so much of London is dependent on tourists, will be saying, well, where am I? Where am I? This could be anywhere. This could be Dubai. It doesn't look any different. Because what's being built is built in the same way for the same kind of market. It's very short short-sighted. It's all about money now, capital now, and certainly it's not intelligent. It's not visually intelligent either. Now, I still think London's a fabulous place, so there's this ambivalence, because there's lots of people who are having shitty lives. The homelessness in London is shocking these days, and the increase in homelessness is so apparent. I'm still learning softwares. I take random photos and random bits of film that aren't planned for any purpose. Then I film myself on green screen. So I don't really plan what I'm going to do. When I do the green screen, I haven't rehearsed. I haven't really thought what I'm going to do when the camera's on. I just think that I'm going to do something, and whatever I do, I'm either going to use it or I'm not going to use it, but I'm going to do it now. Then I start putting things together. Sometimes I start with a piece of music, sometimes I start with a film, sometimes I start with some words, but there's no rule as to which comes first. Then I just see what happens. I go with some kind of development that feels organic, but I don't really know what I'm doing when I start. I don't say when I do a painting. Sometimes they just get lost on the computer. Mostly I post them these days to Instagram as a resource that really is like a recording device, like a scrapbook for everything. And yes, I know they communicate to other people, but it's really about keeping my things, for me, somewhere where they're accessible and findable. There is a bit of a story making, and then there is a bit of just storage in what happens to them. They form stories, what I see, because I don't know what I'm going to see. I don't know what's going to be in the street next time I go out. I don't know what shots are going to disappear. That's a real happening thing all across London now. Every time I go out, something's disappeared. I think these developments are really, there's been some demolitions of places you think, just how on earth did they allow that to be demolished? The whole Nash Terrace in Regent's Park has been demolished. And you think, how did anyone allow that to happen? That's a real criminal act. Earl's Court was a criminal act, and yet they're getting away with these criminal acts. Amount of homelessness, you just have to go out, you just see homeless people wherever you go almost. That is shocking and sad and tragic. There was someone on the Earl's Court Road today sitting in shirt sleeves on a bench with crutches talking to himself. He was a new one on me, I hadn't seen him before, but one knew straight away that he was someone who needed help that he wasn't getting. It's too cold to be sitting out in your shirt sleeves.
No voice. No voice. If we have no voice, there can be no choice. No voice. No voice. No voice. If we have no voice, there can be no choice. No choice. No choice. If we have no voice, there can be.
I used to read a lot of science fiction. I read a lot of Philip K. Dick. I read a lot of Robert Heinlein. I think some obviously had ideas that came to pass. In 1984, so many things, were being watched by cameras the whole time. So some science fiction writers got a lot of things right. I saw it when it was released, but I don't really remember it that well. I remember it was an impressive film, visually. I think I'd read the book. I don't remember it enough to draw a parallel, I'm sorry. Machines are made by man. Even if they're made by another machine, man made that machine first. So we have computers that run banks these days. Computer algorithms that dictate how money is invested. There's computer-aided surgery. Whether machines will build machines, that then just make their own decisions. I suppose that's inevitable at some point. How far away, I don't know. But then I never expected to have the kind of technology in my pocket that I have in my pocket every day. I don't know if it's changed their way of thinking. It's certainly changed reading to me, but I'm still the same person. It's still my mind, and the thoughts that come into it that from outside stimulus could be from anywhere. It's my mind that sorts through it. I don't know. I mean, humans are humans, and the more we interact with machines, we're still humans. I don't know where I got onto that. That's the interaction of man and machine these days, because there's so much more opportunity. Let's hope we're not heading to another 1920s style world recession, but that's a big possibility.